What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Raider Report. I am Spencer Grzywacz. We've got a hot show for you this afternoon, and I am joined, as always, by our lovely moderator, Bailey Hebert. And welcome back to the one and only GP Osa. Good to have you back, buddy. Good to have you back. Anyways, we've got a special guest for you coming up in Act 3 today. We've got some hot debate topics, and more importantly, this is Raider Report.
Hey guys, welcome back. Last episode, before we took our break, we had Spencer and Parker make some predictions on who is going to take the green jacket at the Masters. Danny Willett, who started with the odds of 60-1, ended up taking it all, but only after an unbelievable collapse by Jordan Spieth, who led for the first 3 rounds. Now it has to be said that neither of your picks have particularly good rounds. But then again, nobody did. How do you guys feel about that?
First off, that is not completely true, all right? Dustin Johnson played well, like he always does. He just didn't seal the deal. But when Jordan Spieth collapsed, Dustin Johnson was there. He had the opportunity to take it. He just, again, as he always does in late rounds, he kind of collapsed. But I do feel somewhat bad that I didn't pick Jordan Spieth. Now, I didn't pick Jordan Spieth because going into the tournament, I was thinking, you know what, he hadn't been playing his best golf lately. He said his swing's kind of abandoned him, but I should have known that the Masters is like, Augusta National is his golf course. Like, he owns that, like, not literally, but when it comes to competitively, he owns the golf course, right? He loves playing there. But man, that meltdown on 12 will forever be talked about. Well, never, like, anytime the Masters comes up and people get the 12, especially Jordan Spieth, that hole's going to haunt him for a while. It's going to be tough for him to bounce back from this one.
I was surprised. I mean, like I said before, I've said many times here on Raider Report, I'm not a very into golf, as you can say. Wii Sports, high as I've gone.
Is that how you broke your foot or had the boot on while you're going Wii Sports?
I actually got crossed up, but that's a different story. In the rec, just don't play rec sports until you warm up. That's long story short. But I mean, Jordan Spieth, I was surprised. I watched the episode. I didn't know. I was surprised that Parker, I can't, fend for his pick, but I was surprised that none of y'all picked Jordan Spieth. I thought that's kind of like the Warrior-esque pick in golf, I guess. But
yeah. See, that's why we missed you, GP. Exactly. We needed that brilliance back on the show because I don't know what we were doing over here. But anyways, thank you, GP. Right. So moving right along, thank you guys for y'all's opinions. GP, Spencer told me that you had some not so news for us.
Yes, I do. Hey everyone, and welcome to Not So News, where I tell you lies in hopes I gain your affection, kind of like your parents. Let's begin. This month, David Ortiz announced the 2016 MLB season would be his last, which honestly is not a surprise to me. I actually never thought he was a part of the Red Sox because he's built like a middle-aged I'd drive a Honda Odyssey dad. He's like one of those super fans that gets to chill in the dugout and gets to wear a jersey, kind of like Spike Lee to the New York Knicks. I bet he gets confused with Carmelo Anthony all the time. Stan Van Gundy was fined for calling out the refs for their favorable treatment of LeBron James, otherwise known as King James tax. Van Gundy will be fined $25,000 for his insolence against the throne. He shall be put in place. In other news, the University of Georgia paid rap artist Ludacris $65,000 to perform 15 minutes at their G-Day 2016 spring game. Ludacris allegedly demanded the following items to add to his contract with the Bulldogs: a box of fruit roll-ups, 6 Hanes large white t-shirts, a dozen towels, and that's not even half of it. Hey, the man has to find some way to get his grocery shopping in while on the road. And that, my friends, is Not So News. Back to you, Bailey.
Thank you so much,
Were you bashing Luda in that? Because I kind of like Luda.
He was
like
cool when 2006 was cool. So
that's when I was cool too. That's when I was cool too. Was in 2006.
We know, Spencer.
Yep.
We know.
We've seen the pictures with the jean shorts. We know.
But I mean, he's in Fast and Furious
rock
now.
them jean shorts.
He's still cool. Whatever.
Rock them.
We don't want to think about that.
We'll get a picture of that put up eventually.
We don't want it.
You're gonna see me in jean shorts.
We're gonna unsubscribe, everyone. Well, thank you so much, GP, as usual, for your Not So News. It was very enlightful.
Thank you.
But everyone knows that baseball season is officially in full swing, and we're excited that we found the 5 of the weirdest pitching windups. Spencer and GP will tell you more about that.
All right, thank you, Bailey. So I'm here at GP. We're going to count down the top 5 weirdest pitches that we could find. So first up here at number 5 is Hall of Famer Satchel Paige. So let's take a quick look at this. He's got this nice swinging motion. Oh. You almost think he's trying to go after the softball team here.
Dang.
I'm just saying, like the underarm swing. I'm not knocking his pitching as the MLB, but that underarm swing is interesting.
It looks really weird. I've never seen anything like it. But at number 4 comes Warren Sapp. Let's see how this goes. Oh, and with the stanky leg. Okay.
That's like a karate kick. That's
okay.
Hey,
just whatever.
Don't steal on him, right? At number 3 we have Louis Tyant.
All right, let's see this bad boy.
Oh, we're into color. We're into color generation now. Oh, it's like a no-look pitch, kind of like a no-look, kind of a little bit of a Magic Johnson-esque there, you know. Not really looking when he throws the pitch. Yeah.
Got some torque with his pelvis. I see him. And at number 2 is Johnny Cueto and his shimmy.
Cueto.
Well, hey.
My sources tell me Cueto.
Look at that.
Shimmy.
That was ridiculous.
Can we get some music to that?
Okay. Right.
Maybe Luda. Maybe he can sign Luda to play some music on pitches.
Luda.
Yeah, and finally at number 1, and a very debatable type of windup, is Carter Cap. And here is why. He literally jumps off of the pitching rubber whenever he makes his pitch. So technically, I feel like that should be considered a balk because you're not allowed to come off the rubber. But it's kind of up to the umpire.
Hey,
so if the umpire doesn't think that it's there, then and he's never been called for it. So I guess it works, and that is number 1 on our countdown of weirdest pitches.
Very weird.
So everyone, stick around because we'll be right back to discuss recent news that regards Tubby Smith and recruiting, new NBA ad space, and of course Kobe Bryant.
The Mamba.
Hey guys, let's start off this segment with our big debate, our favorite segment of all. Red Raiders, we've had a rough couple of weeks. Last week, Tubby Smith, who led Texas Tech to the first NCAA tournament since 2007, has left us. But it's fine because former assistant coach Chris Beard came to replace him. This does raise the question about dirty recruitment and whether Smith's departure was really as bad as it seems. So Spencer, do you think that was that bad, or what do you feel?
So I'm going to start with the Tubby Smith issue and him leaving Texas Tech to go to Memphis. A lot of people are fine with it. Myself, I was even fine with it at first. I was like, he's taking a top 25 gig, known around all of, the sports world and especially college coaching, that Memphis is a great job to go and get. Mm-hmm. However, when I learned that he had not addressed his players about his former Tech players at Tech, his team, about the move that he had made until 24 to 48 hours later, that's when I got upset. I mean, I feel like you owe it to your team that you have coached, that you just took to the NCAA for the first time, that this team's been there, and the first time in a long time for Tech. So I feel like you owe it to them to really explain to them what your move is going to be and why you are, in a sense, abandoning them. I know everybody has to go and provide for themselves, so I don't blame Tubby Smith for going out to Memphis, but I don't like the character in which he showed it while doing it. So especially coming from an award-winning coach about character. So.
Okay, thank you for that. GP, how do you feel about it?
I don't see the big deal in it. Honestly, it's really really not that big a deal. At the end of the day, Tubby, he's just trying to get his money. Like, he's seasoned coach, trying to go to a top 25 team, like you said before. But and he's just trying to, expand his career. He doesn't really owe anything to anybody. I don't see what the big deal is. Yes, he was the first coach to lead them to the first NCAA tournament since 2007. But still, he doesn't owe anyone anything. He does what he wants. Yes, was it a little insensitive for him not to talk to the players after he left? Yeah, but is it a big deal? They're grown, they can handle it. So, yes, it's a little harsh, but at the end of the day, and stuff like this in the NCAA, it's business. Business is booming for Tubby, and business seems to be booming for Tech. They got Chris Beard, the prodigal son is back in town, so it's a win-win situation. Mutual, but win-win nevertheless.
I mean, yeah, it turns out both parties involved, really, there was 3 or 4 parties involved in this entire scandal, with UNLV to Chris Beard to Tubby Smith to Memphis. And it all turned out okay, but in the end, it's still, there's a character thing there, okay? And it doesn't always turn out this well. The only reason it turned out well was because Texas Tech and Kirby Hocutt were able to go out and find a very quick fix. And it just so happened Chris Beard was able to come back to Tech.
But tell me this, if you were a coach, you're a seasoned coach, you're trying to expand, you're trying to go up the ladder and trying to become the best coach you can be, you have a top 25 offer sitting on your table. And you're on a team that struggles with recruiting, location. You can't get the players you want. But with Memphis, all those problems are solved, and you can focus on being a real coach.
He's been up the ladder. He won a national championship with Kentucky. He went to the NCAA tournament with Minnesota. He has been up the ladder. Okay, so you can at least show the character to his team right now that he is going to try and reclimb that ladder.
Why?
Because he coached a team. He owed it to him.
He doesn't.
A coach is like a father figure in the locker room of college basketball
It's not
players.
a rule that a coach has to be a father figure to the players. It'd be nice, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, let's be honest. Tubby Smith, like he's just trying to go where the money is, or he's just
Why does
trying
he need more money? Texas
You
Tech
don't know
was
this
going to
man's
basically
finances.
Texas Tech was going to basically match his offer.
They match his offer. They gave him, I don't know the exacts about it, but I know there was something around a raise of some sort. But at the end of the day, that Memphis job is a lot more easier.
I agree. The Memphis job is a better job. I don't have a problem with him taking the Memphis job. I have a problem with him doing it in the way in which he presented it to his players.
To his players. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Nobody even heard that because of the mail.
Well, you guys made great points in that debate. That's a sensitive topic for Texas Tech right now, as we all can kind of know. But anyway, we'll move right along, okay? And we'll get to a lighter subject. So now that we've got that out the way, let's talk about wonderful NBA jerseys. They're like so cool, so clean. They're getting new. After Christmas, they got the t-shirt type jerseys, for some teams, and some teams kept them around. I thought they were great. But now the NBA is talking about putting ads on the jerseys. And I think this is going to be out of control. Like, it's going to look crazy and gaudy. So what do you guys think? GP.
I'm counting down the days till I have to refer to the Mavericks as Gillette Mavericks or the East Bay Mavericks or the Cavalier, Cavalier GoDaddies or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's, again, just another marketing scheme trying to make more money. It makes the jersey look weird. I don't like it. The soccer jerseys have it. Not a fan of that. I just kind of wish it would just be the good old, I'm old fashioned, so I'd like the jerseys just with the names and the logos and strictly based on design. But, I mean, I guess it was going to happen sooner or later, so.
Right.
I guess that's all I got to say. It's depressing, but what can you do?
Yeah. What?
GPO, so the man about the money. You just got done talking to me about how Tubby Smith was going to go get money, right? That's why he made the switch.
True.
Okay, well, guess what? Guess what this advertisement putting on an NBA jersey does? Brings in a lot of money. And it's like a 2-inch by 2-inch logo. It's not.
That's how it starts. That's how it
Sounds like a good
starts.
one.
Have you seen the new Manchester jerseys where they have a huge Chevrolet sign just like this? It's ridiculous.
And how much money do they make? Probably a lot more than they would without.
They make a lot, but they don't have caps. They don't have caps. That's different.
It doesn't. First off, we don't have Chevrolet across the chest. It's a little sign, a little bit bigger than this Texas Tech emblem I have right here, which you can barely see on the screen right now. Okay, a little bit bigger than that, and I think it could be actually entertaining depending on if these teams kind of play into the type of advertisement that they're putting on the jersey.
Oh goodness.
You just never know what can happen there. But I think, I like it. I enjoy it as a fan, especially because that brings in more money that hopefully the franchise will turn around and put back into facilities that the fans would use, i.e. the arena or concession and stuff like that. So I'm fine with it.
All right. Well, so GP, you seem like you.
I would.
More to
My
say.
whole thing, I'd be totally okay with this if the money would go back to the team to get more players, but it has obviously because of cap and all that stuff in the NBA, and it's not going to happen. But it just takes away from the look of the jersey, and it's
a 2-inch by 2-inch logo.
They're going to be multiple. There's going to be multiple.
There's going to be like 4.
4, 5. It's going to be, if you see how in Europe and the European jerseys, it's the logo on the back along with your name at the bottom. It's just, you're going to refer to I don't know, Dwayne Wade as Dwayne Wacko or something.
Whether you like it or not, it was inevitable that it was going to happen.
It was going to happen.
Eventually, it's going to happen. So there's no reason to complain about it and be upset about it if we're not going to change the fact that once you get a little taste of that money, you're not. It's kind of like a shark, you know. Like once you smell the blood or get a taste of the blood, you're out for it, right? And it's the same type of situation here. Once they get a little bit of taste of that money, you know, that's going to be the end of it. You know, it's going to happen.
I always have to ding you for whatever reason. Like,
it's always him. I play by the rules.
I feel like it was supposed to be one ding that is turned. You love that bell.
Because you like to talk.
Has to keep you in line.
Anyways, finally, you know, on with the NBA conversation. Let's talk about Mr. Kobe Bryant and his retirement. He's come and he's pulled off 60 points in his final game. He outscored Steph Curry. But now that he's gone, we have to ask the question, where does he rank in your list of top players? Spencer?
Well, whoa, excuse me, sorry.
Okay.
Keep it. I think that there's a more important question to ask here, and it's not only where does he rank in the list of your top players, where does he rank on the top players in the Lakers franchise? I think both are important. We were talking about this before the show, and people were saying, well, you can't have two Lakers in the top 5. Why not? Why can't you have two Lakers in the top 5 all the time? I would say you got Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant. The other reason why I really like Kobe Bryant to be maybe one or two, calling me crazy, is because no other player was able to be like Mike in the same way that Kobe Bryant was. Kobe Bryant was a exact imitation of Michael Jordan's style of play. He got 5 rings, Michael Jordan got 6. That's the difference. So I don't see why we're going to sit here and argue the fact that, oh, he's number 10 if we have Michael Jordan up at number 1, you know, and they were the exact same player almost. So from that alone, I think he should be up toward the top of Lakers franchise. So
thank you, Spencer. GP, how do you feel about that?
I'd have to expand it a little bit. I don't see I don't see it as just who's the best Laker. I see it more as the best of all time, and I think Kobe's top 5. Call me Skip Bayless, but I'm saying something outrageous. But he's and for top Laker, I would say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there instead of Magic Johnson. But that's just me. But Kobe Bryant, he should be, I think, top. He should be at least 3rd on the list of all time, because if you look at what Michael Jordan had, the weapons he had Scottie Pippen, he had Dennis Rodman, and all those guys as his time playing. But you look at the last 2 years of Kobe's, the last 2 years of Kobe's career, when he won the championships in 2008 and 2009 back-to-back, he was really not dealing with. He didn't really have much around him. So.
You're talking about his last 2 championships. He didn't have much of a supporting cast.
Yes.
Pau Gasol was not an all-star in his last 2 years, and when he won back-to-back championships. Derek Fisher was not still able to play at a high elite level as a point guard. Ron Artest was not a very solid role player for that team.
I need you to come back. He
caught me off guard slightly.
I'm just saying.
But
he had just as good as a supporting
stands.
Cast. He had Shaq with his first 3.
His first 3, but I wasn't talking about
his first 2.
I wasn't talking about those. I was referring to the latter years, to be quite exact. But
Kobe Bryant had plenty of supporting cast.
There were some years, the years where he still stands. He should be number 3 on the list.
All time? You're talking all time?
I don't agree.
So who's number 2?
Number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And then number 1 is Michael Jordan?
Yes.
That's interesting. I think we have somebody waiting offset that when he comes on next, Zach, I think he's gonna.
We will hear about
really
that.
disagree with that.
We will hear about that.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for your opinions as always. Thank you, Spencer, for always going overtime. Anyways,
overtime on this last one.
We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I've got a special spotlight for you, Spencer. Spencer has his MVP, and of course, we will predict the NBA playoffs with a special guest. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back. We have a special guest today. His name is Matthew Cardenas. He's an NBA analyst from Last Word on Sports. So hi Matthew, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Hey Matthew, I'm curious. I see you brought a broom from the studio in here on set. What's that about?
That'll wait for a little bit longer.
right.
We'll get into that.
I have an idea. Everybody has an idea. I'm just curious who you're going to go for. You know, you being a Houston man and all. So
I'm not biased.
You gotta wait for that. You gotta wait for that. Okay?
All right.
That's why they stick around to see what he's.
Keep us on track. Keep us on track.
I got you. No worries.
All right, but first I'm gonna start with my spotlight for this week. This week's spotlights is the Texas Tech men's track team. The men's track team still remains ranked number 12. Kyle Collins on the men's track team, he runs the 400, and CJ Jones for the 800 both finished first place at last week's West Kitley Invitational. CJ Jones also set a personal record, finishing at 1 minute and 49.89 seconds. He sits at number 26, and Kyle Collins sits at number 15 on the NCAA West qualifying list. Chris Caldwell also finished first in the 110 hurdles at Abilene track meet last week. He finished in 13.67 seconds. He was 5.2 meters per second away from being ranked third in the entire region. I don't know about you guys. I could never even dream of running that fast. So congratulations to you guys.
I dream about it. Like,
I don't even try to dream like that because I'm not fast like that. So, congratulations to them. Continuing on the men's track team, just to brag on y'all for a little bit more, Bernard Keeter, he had set 4 personal bests, a new school record for the 3,000 meter steeplechase at SAC relays. Like, y'all know how many laps around the track that is?
Steeplechase is a really cool name.
But
I was really intrigued by the name, actually.
Like, who's
Firstborn
gonna do that?
son's going to be Steeplechase.
I would be dead last in all these races.
Steeplechase Grzywacz.
Yeah,
Dead last and everything.
Oh, no.
And finally, I'm going to talk about Clark Blunt. He finished first in the 5,000 meters, and he was runner-up by only 0.21 seconds in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. That's my spotlight of the week. Texas Tech men's track team, congratulations, and wreck 'em, you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Man, those
Shouts
are some
out.
fast times.
You got shout out to
I don't
girls,
even know
too.
how long some of those
Shout out
are.
to
It
the
just
girls.
seems impressive.
Yeah. You start getting to 1,000, you're just like, man, that's a long way to go.
Exactly.
But, Spencer, I did my spotlight. You got your MVP?
I do have an MVP of the week. Is Zion Shaver, a high school wrestler who was born with a condition where he was born without legs. And actually, in his senior year of high school, he went 33-15 for his record. That is without that's without the capabilities that we have with having, of course, legs. That is impressive. And I tell you what, I saw a video of this kid, and he's free bench pressing 90-pound dumbbells.
It's more than I can do.
He weighs 90 pounds.
Wow.
So he's bench pressing it's crazy. Mad respect.
More than I can do.
Mad respect.
I wonder how his opponents feel like going into the fight. They're just sitting there like, oh.
They're like, dang.
And then they're sitting on the floor, I just lost to this kid.
He is the real deal. His coach even said that he was the most, he was the strongest wrestler he'd ever coached. So that is why you're my MVP of the week. Congratulations. And that is very impressive. We are impressed.
Wow. We are impressed. I'm impressed. Well, that was an excellent choice and very well deserved of him. On to our predictions, though, for this week. First up, we have the Western Conference. This is where Matthew's going to come in and help you guys out. So maybe y'all can have some good predictions. He's going to give y'all a little
help
insight.
that man sitting next to you.
I do.
Low-key,
I've been
off
losing.
your game.
I've been off my game.
But we're going to start with the
He got
Western
me.
Conference with Golden State versus Houston. Y'all know who I'm rooting for, but...
Well, first off, wait, Matthew, you are from the Houston area, correct?
From Houston.
All right, let's get that.
2 up, 2 down, hold it
All
down.
right,
But
he's going for it. Is he going for it?
I have to.
Man.
Pardon, Howard. I love you guys, but they couldn't beat the Warriors without Curry, for
couldn't.
crying out loud. I mean, just the one problem I have really with Houston is that JB Bickerstaff doesn't even have his rotation set. Because they'll have one game where Michael Beasley plays 25 minutes, and the next game he plays 8. This is his 84th game into the year. You need to have a set rotation this late into the season. And I love Dwight Howard to death, but there are some games he does look a little disinterested. But I do think he's putting effort out there. And, we could be seeing Dwight Howard's last 2 games in Houston.
Man, as Mavericks fans, I wouldn't mind having him come up our way. But that being said, yeah, I wouldn't play Steph Curry until you absolutely need him in the series. I wouldn't play him next game.
Need him.
No reason to play him. You don't have to. It's a bunch.
in your city.
It's a team. Golden State, the team, going up against a bunch of individuals with Houston.
So who do you want to win? Who do you have winning?
Oh, I have Golden State with the sweep.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Golden
much.
State with the sweep.
I'm
James
glad.
Harden.
Y'all are
do
trying to
you want the
win.
rim? Want the rim?
We
Sure,
just
yeah,
swept
Y'all are trying to win.
Y'all legit brought the studio room up here.
Wow. All right. Oh my goodness. Anyways, let's move on to the Clippers versus the Trailblazers. What do you have?
This is my favorite series in the Western Conference in the first round because it's the only series where it's not really lopsided like every single other series. Because what I'm looking at is the two backcourts with CJ McCollum, who's my most improved player of the year, and Damian Lillard against JJ Redick and Chris Paul. And I think really the winner between the two backcourts, whoever wins each game is probably going to win the series. But regardless, I have Clippers in 6, but I give Portland a lot of credit because last summer you lose 4 or 5 starters.
Weren't even supposed to make the playoffs.
They were supposed to win 26 games and be a lottery bound. And Terry Stotts just got solid young players to add to Lillard and McCollum. By the way, Stotts is my pick for Coach of the Year. I get that Kerr won 73, but Kerr wasn't even here for half of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Dame Lillard can play too, man.
I love watching him play. You know, it was hard to hate him because of what he did to Houston, but.
So real quick before we move on, who do you have
What do you
winning
suggest?
this?
I need this. I need this.
Go with the Clippers. Go with the Clippers.
I'll go with the Clippers.
You got the Clippers. That you
my
got
own
that
decision.
by yourself.
I'm going the same
Yes.
way just because of the athleticism of the Clippers
Oh,
from
yeah.
top to bottom. So.
And
All right.
Blake Griffin came back. So.
Came back. He came
All
to play.
right. We'll keep watching and we'll see. So next we have OKC versus Dallas. Matthew, don't let me down on this, okay? I am from Dallas. I am a Dallas Mavericks fan. Do not let me down right now.
I can't answer this for him. He's going to be let down regardless.
No, I'm not. Have you watched the first few games?
I have.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, you watched the first few games, but I really do give a lot of credit to Dallas. They lost Darren Williams. He's probably not going to play much the rest of the series.
No,
Dirk's dealing with a bruised
I know
knee.
he's going with
Beret has been injured. Chandler Parsons is out for the year.
Yes.
It's just I've never heard of half the players Dallas has, and they found a way to get it together. And they stole game 2. Rick Carlisle's Coach of the Year every year if they really wanted to give it to him.
Always.
He's one of the best coaches. And did y'all see Justin Anderson and Charlie V interrupt Payne and Westbrook?
Yeah, and you know, Westbrook's created a feud. And, you know, Westbrook's kind of come back and
That was real.
has been posting some videos talking back against them. But it's interesting because Justin Anderson actually was in on that huge last second play.
Yeah,
got
he
the
was.
tip block
I give him
on
credit.
Kevin
He's playing
Durant
well.
that, you know, kind of put on the game. But I don't see Dallas hanging with OKC any longer. The first game is more how the series is going to go compared to the second game. So
Can you vote for Dallas for me?
I got to. You know.
Thank you.
Oh, geez.
I have to.
Oh.
I know. I know.
That's all we need to hear because we know Dallas got it. Anyway, we're going to move on to San Antonio Spurs, who always sneak into the playoffs, whatever, and versus the Memphis Grizzlies.
sneak in the playoffs with the best record of the last decade besides Golden State. You know, no big deal.
They sneak in there because I don't like them.
I need like 5 rooms for this. It's not even fair. Sweet. You know the Grizzlies have used 28 players this year? That's the most players a team has used in an entire season. Half these guys are playing in the D League. And now they're playing against Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Kawhi Leonard, second best player in the NBA
Whoa. Let's back that up. Let's back that up a little second.
At this moment,
Put him in this
Kawhi
place.
Leonard is
Put him in
second
this
best player in the
place.
NBA.
Who's your first?
Put him in this place.
I need to know your first.
Steph Curry.
Did LeBron die?
No, LeBron's third.
There.
LeBron's third. But
He's not first.
the only reason LeBron's third is because I expected a little bit, which we'll talk to here actually in our next prediction. I expected a little bit more out of Cleveland, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're going for.
I'm going Spurs. And I'll go with the
All right.
sweep as well.
I don't like San Antonio. It's boring, but Spurs.
It's boring, but it works.
It works.
Man,
Spurs
All
in
right.
4.
no controversy in our
No
picks.
controversy. That's why Tim Duncan.
Not
so
far.
lopsided.
Tim Duncan
Anyways,
plays
let's
Jenga
move
for
on
fun.
to the Eastern Conference, you guys. Let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers versus
tough
the
one to get out.
Detroit Pistons,
Tongue
okay?
twister.
How do
Look.
y'all feel?
LeBron is still the best player in the NBA, and he's going to prove that in June when he's holding up the trophy. Letting you know right now, that's my prediction.
Preach.
Don't believe
So
the
listen,
hype.
Preach,
Right.
Pastor Matt.
I agree.
Preach.
I got to see LeBron play against the Mavericks over Christmas break, and I agree. I do think LeBron is still, by and large, the best basketball player in the NBA. If you're counting the entire season and you're counting up to this point, everybody's career. But if you were looking in this moment, right now, today, he is not the best basketball player in the NBA. Today. Okay, I'm not saying that can't change. I'm not saying overall he's still not the best basketball player, because I agree. He's the best passer. He can score at will. The only thing that he lacks is a consistent jump shot, but it's LeBron James, the king, King James. But today, right now, he is not the best player in the NBA, in my opinion.
I mean, first off, I think it's just disrespectful you put Kawhi above him. Kawhi have just 20 and 6. That's not going to cut it. But back to Cleveland and Detroit.
Cuts it on the second best team in the Western Conference and of this decade.
The system. But for Cleveland, they had 81 points from the big three in the first game, and I think that's kind of dictate the rest of the series. They know what they need to do. LeBron can be a free agent this summer. I don't think he'll leave, but
he unfollowed his own team on Twitter.
And he played a lot better ever since he unfollowed them.
All right, real quick. Who do you got for that?
I got Cleveland, of course.
Cleveland.
I don't have them winning the entire thing. That's ludicrous.
Of course, but
Cleveland, and they're winning the whole
There's been
thing.
a lot of ludicrous in this show.
I
know.
Anyways,
I have Cleveland
we're
first.
gonna move right
You
along,
heard
you
it
guys.
first.
I know that y'all love LeBron, but let's move on. So we're gonna talk about Atlanta Hawks versus Boston Celtics.
Man, I loved Boston in this
I love
series,
Boston,
man.
but he lost Avery Bradley. And to most teams, that's not a big loss, but he averaged 15 points a game. He's your best perimeter defender, and now he's gone.
him
He's probably
in
gone
this
for the rest of the series, and I think Millsap and Horford are too much for Solinger, Amir Johnson in the paint, and I'm expecting a little more from Isaiah Thomas, and he hasn't really shown up. He was an all-star this year, and Boston really struggles in the first half. They've had 30 points, 34, 35 in the first half of both games. If you do that against Atlanta, you're going to be done.
But
pretty quick.
I think they'll still make this a good series.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
easily,
think
yeah.
it's going to be. I would still. Boston could still very well come back and win this series. It doesn't always happen, but I think they very well could. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
You kind of going for Boston?
Yeah, I'm flexible, but yeah.
I'm going to Atlanta.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
GP.
our
Sleepers.
first.
They're sleepers.
Our
I have
first
Atlanta in
opposite.
6.
Okay.
All right. So next we have Miami Heat versus the Charlotte Hornets.
I mean, if it goes anything like game 1, this one's going to end really quick. But, I mean, I don't really think so. Nicholas Batum and Kemba Walker are the biggest playmakers for Charlotte, and they both had 1 assist in the first 2 games.
They're on like
And
an
in the
8-game
first
playoff
game,
losing streak.
9.
9?
Yeah, so I mean that's it's pretty bad. But I
That
mean,
tells you my prediction.
but I mean, he had 27 assists in game 1, so they're really more focused. I think Johnson and Wade really hurt the Hornets in the post. But I do think the series is going to go a lot longer than people expect. I have Heat in 7.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
GP?
Wow. Heat, obviously.
Good
You have the
choice. Good
Heat,
choice.
and you have
good
the
choice.
Heat also?
The Heat.
All right. Let's talk about the Toronto Raptors versus the Indiana Pacers.
I mean, look, Toronto hasn't gotten out of the first round in the past 2 years as one of the top teams in the East. They got swept last year, and then they don't even show up to game 1 in their own city. I mean, they're letting Drake down. And we have an album going out with Drake in about a week.
How could you do that?
I mean,
Views.
there's going to be
Let
some really
Drake
depressing
down.
tracks, but Lowry and DeRozan have not stepped up still. The role players are stepping up, and Indiana's going to give them a run for their money. Paul George stepped it up, so.
Paul George is playing it like the old Paul George, like before
Exactly.
his injury, right? But man, I think Toronto is gonna have a chance to
I
even
have
upset
Toronto.
Cleveland in the
Drake
East,
down.
man. So
Just because, just for Drake, because he's dropping views from the 6, I have to go with the
and then 10
Raptors.
days or something.
10 days.
I'm excited.
Hey,
I saw a countdown on
hey,
Twitter, but
better watch.
I mean, I think Toronto's going to win, but I think it's going to be a lot harder than what some people expect it to be.
So
They
probably
need to
seven
wear the
games.
OVO jersey.
No, I think Toronto in 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
And did you say Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
I went Toronto as well.
All right.
Toronto.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Matthew, for being
Thank
here
you,
today.
guys.
and
Pleasure to be
getting
here.
us
Really
on
enjoyed
the
it.
side,
Please, hey, go
helping
check
these
out
guys
his website, lastwordonsports.com. Lastwordonsports.com.
Appreciate it.
He writes the NBA articles and blog for that website, and he really keys in a lot of Houston stuff. So that that team's got a lot of interesting stuff around it. So please go check in on Matthew on that website, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, like Bailey
problem.
said. With that though, this will conclude Raider Report. So. We want to thank you for tuning in. We will be back and better than ever again next week. So thank you for coming along with this ride with us. GP, Bailey, thank you. Of course, Matt, thanks for bringing the broom. You're finding stuff here. Anyways, see you next week. This is Raider Report. I'm the Grizz, and that's how it is.